Hey everybody, Cigar Titan here. Today I'm accompanied by my good friend Brotha Stogie. Say hello to the people.
What up, Cigar family? Brotha Stogie back in the house once again.
Today we are going to be talking about just the tip. Not that tip. These tips. Cigar tips. Much like the cigarettes of the past, if you remember those ladies that would smoke those long cigarettes and then they'd have that little filter tip on the end of that cigarette. That's kind of what we're dealing with today. I've never seen these items or this product before. I've never seen anybody smoking a cigar with a cigar tip. So this is going to be a first for both of us. Kendall, you want to give them a little backstory on how you got these cigar tips?
Actually, it's pretty simple. My wife figured she was going to give me a gift because, you know, cigar connoisseur here. And she brought me just the tip. And the purpose of these is pretty much just to prevent that burn that you get when you get to that last quarter of your cigar and you get that lip burn from the cigar. That's to prevent that. So I figured this to add a nice little bougie flair to our cigar day here today, and we'll show you what it's all about.
Ready to get started?
Let's rock.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be smoking the Saison by Oliva. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, giving it my best shot there. I've had this before. I'll kind of give you a little bit of a review as we're going through the cigar tips here. What are you smoking today, Brotha Stogie?
Today I will be smoking the G2 Habano from Grey Cliff from the beautiful Nassau, Bahamas.
Okay. All right, so we're going to cut these up. Yeah, I'm thinking probably a straight cut versus the V cut today, just given that we're going to be throwing the tips on the end of this. Probably want a wide cut for the most circumference to get the most smoke out of that. So in order to get a tight fit, I'm going to be going with the 46 by 47. And I don't know if we mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but these are a brand of Cohiba cigar tips. And let's see if I can get a little shot up there. There we go.
And I don't know which one I'm gonna use, so I'm just going and try to fit these on there. And so here I'm using the 49 to 52 ring gauge, and this baby slides right on there, just like so.
A snug fit?
Yeah, pretty snug.
All right,
so light this baby up.
First impressions with the draw. It's on there pretty tight. Doesn't really feel like I'm getting much air coming in anywhere other than where the initial cut at the top of the cigar was. So I'm gonna go ahead and light this up. See how this performs.
Kind of adds a different element to smoking cigars.
I would agree with that. So definitely not getting any air from the side. It's a very snug fit for the cigar. Good smoke output. It's quite honestly, in the beginning it's a little different, unique. It's going to take some getting used to in terms of how you hold the cigar. I'm used to holding my cigars like this, and it feels a little awkward with the tip on the end. That band came right off. All right. Typically I smoke cigars with a ring gauge of anywhere between 52 to 56. That tends to be what I'm more partial to personally. So I'm used to that size of my mouth. Don't say it.
You said it.
And so the end of this is obviously very narrow. It's a very tapered tip. I don't want to say like a torpedo, but it definitely something to that effect towards the end of the cigar there. The flavors that I'm getting off of the cigar right now are very dry, very woody notes.
From the Grey Cliff starting off, you get like a peppery cedar type taste from this.
Yeah, a little bit of pepper on the back end of this as well. I can feel it kind of sitting on the back of the tongue, lasting through the finish. Not bad. All right, we'll get into the first third of this, see how these tips perform, and we'll come back and give you guys an update.
All right, so we're about 5 minutes into smoke. And one thing I kind of realized is that the tip of this is kind of like, kind of mimics the effects of smoking a pipe, I would say.
Yeah, I get a lot of that as well. I think that's probably a better analogy, is that the tip of this is definitely shaped more like the end of a pipe. Definitely a lot more smoke output for those of you guys who out there who are pipe smokers and cigar smokers. You know, you definitely get a lot more smoke output from a cigar than you typically do with a pipe, at least in most cases. That's not exactly 100% accurate across the board, but yeah, I think in this case it's definitely feels more like a pipe.
And for those of you who are wondering how the cigar fits inside the tip, you know, give it a little wiggle. The cigar hugs the walls of the tip very well, very sturdy, not loose at all. I can kind of wiggle it here, no movement, so no air getting, you know, inside the tip, making it uncomfortable to smoke. Not at all, not at all. You know, some of the things you hear from women in the cigar world, in reaction to men smoking cigars, is some women don't like men who smoke larger ring gauges because, you know, it gives them that, you know, thing going with it. So women, check this out. If you don't want your man smoking a large ring gauge with his mouth surrounding the tip of the cigar, get him a cigar tip.
On the flip side to that, I think ladies, for those of you who are looking for maybe a more, I don't know, bougie, elegant approach to cigars, this is definitely something that I would recommend for you ladies who don't like having a huge stick in your mouth for 2 hours. Yeah, I know. There's no good way to say that. But yeah, I think this is definitely a nice alternative to that.
All right, so cigar family. So further in, we are now pairing our cigars with the whiskey of the day, and the whiskey of the day is Old Forester Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey. 47.5% alcohol by volume, 95 proof, baby. Yes.
Very smooth, definitely doesn't have the harsh bite that I would expect from something 95 proof. So very easy, smooth drink to pair up with the cigar. So we're about 10 minutes in right now, kind of cruising along. I can tell you this, it's a pretty slow burn so far. Looks like the construction of the cigar is very good. It's a very straight burn all the way through. No issues with the construction. Flavors pretty much are the same as they were at the beginning of the light. Still very woody notes, a little bit of earth in there right now. That pepper has dialed back a little bit since the initial light. It's much more smooth towards the end of the finish. I would say this is definitely a medium to full-bodied cigar at this point. What are you getting out of yours?
Now let me know to you guys, I'm getting outside of the pepper and the cedar, now I'm getting a creamy sensation to the cigar now. Now when I mean creamy, I mean like, not like milk creamy, or I'm getting more of like the end of when a chocolate Hershey goes down your throat type creamy. You know what I'm saying? So a real creamy note that I'm getting right here. Very pleasant.
So far the performance of the cigar tip is honestly holding up. No issues whatsoever. I'm still getting very good smoke output with the cigar tip. There's no air getting in from the sides. No real issues whatsoever. I gotta say I'm kind of surprised, honestly, at the overall performance of the cigar tips. This was not at all what I was expecting. I don't know, what are you getting, Brother Stogie?
All I can say is, thanks to the wife.
One of the other things that I've noticed with regards to the cigar tips is that it does definitely help with smoke output, since it's sealing up a lot of the area where air can get in on the end of the cigar, it's definitely a more concentrated pull when drawing the cigar, and thus providing a lot more smoke output while smoking the cigar.
I agree. And with the size of the cigar tip, no matter what your cigar holding style is, whether you got the grip, the bougie finger, or you just kind of hold like that OG that smokes the cigars, it works. No matter which way you hold your cigar, the cigar tips do not interfere with the way you hold your cigar.
So just getting into the second third, and it looks like I'm out. So put this down for about 5 minutes, and it must have been 5 minutes too long. Cigar ended up burning out.
Mine, on the other hand, have been sort of consistent. Maybe I'll take a drag of it maybe every minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes or so, and it's still going strong.
So we'll keep plugging along through the second third here, and we'll let you know if there's any flavor changes or performance issues with the cigar tips. So we're getting into the last third of the cigar right now, and another thing that I think is worth mentioning with these cigar tips, especially if you've got a cigar that is producing a lot of tar, one of the benefits to using a cigar tip is that you're not going to get that tar buildup on your lips or in your mouth, so you're safe and free from all of that. So I thought that that was something worth mentioning if you decide to use one of these cigar tips while smoking your cigars.
And my favorite part about the cigar tips is usually when we get to the last third of the cigar, this is when the tip starts to heat up a little bit. Sometimes it gets a little hot with every draw, and this cigar tip eliminates all of that.
As we're rounding out the last third here, final impressions of the cigar tip. Is it worth it? That really depends on you and your personal preference. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised by the performance of these cigar tips. It's not like anything that I've ever had before. Is this something that I would use every single time I'm having a cigar? Probably not. But like I said, it's a personal preference. There are some definite benefits to using the cigar tip versus not using the cigar tip. I do like the fact that it does keep the cigar handling experience very cool to the touch. Not a lot of heat, especially as you can see here, really getting down to the end of the cigar. It does allow you to smoke the cigar through a little bit more. What are your final thoughts?
Kind of same similar thoughts. The appearance of the cigar tip itself is not, out there to where someone sees you, it's like, you're being, obnoxious with, accessories with cigars. It's very low key. Everything's kind of protected by this tip here. And like you said, you can enjoy more of your cigar because you just don't have those nuisances that you have when you're at the end of your cigar. Would I use it every day? I wouldn't use it every day either. But I would use it when I go out and have a smoke. Events, my cigar lounge, I would probably pack these in my fanny pack and smoke with these.
You got a fanny pack?
Yes, I have a fanny pack. It's camo though. My fanny pack is camo. Nice and manly, all right?
That's right.
Thanks for joining in to another episode on the Cigar Titan channel. If you like the cigar tips, go ahead and leave a comment at the bottom. Let us know what you like about the cigar tips. Would you use them? And if you wouldn't, why wouldn't you? If you would, why would you? And until next time, smoke how you live how you smoke. And that's smooth, baby.
Take care, everybody.